9/11 is the biggest lie of our lifetime.
Did George Bush...
Why did that military commander have a Fortnite accent?
9/11 is the biggest lie of our
9/11 is literally the biggest lie of our lifetime. And let me tell you. Easily. Is this strap? Bro, I stay strapped up in New York. Honestly, bro, I don't know how I didn't go to jail in New York. Chat, listen. In New York, I didn't have concealed carry because concealed carry is only on the state you get it in. And I kept that thing on me 24/7 when I was in New York, bro. Just always smoking blunts, just strapped up, bro. What the fuck was wrong with me? Holy fuck, chat. How did I not go to jail? I would never do that now where I live. I would get, like, bro, that'd be terrifying. Bro, I could not, Ben, I could not imagine driving around our hometown smoking a blunt with a gun on me. Dude, that would be insane. You don't have to have a license anymore? To conceal carry? Yeah, you're insane. Yes, you do.
lifetime.
Did George Bush do 9/11?
I don't know.
And so is everyone else.
Actually, I don't know.
Is that the president?
Nah, I wouldn't say everyone else is.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous?
It is.
Why is it?
I gotta go.
Do you think it's possible George Bush did
Texas.
9/11?
Wait for me right now.
Oh, I'm no conspiracy theorist,
Where
but
I
hear me
live.
out. George Bush, 9/11. On the day before 9/11, the Secretary of Defense, David Rumsfeld, reported that the Pentagon somehow lost $2.3 trillion. How did they make the public forget about this missing money?
No. Texas definitely has it. You're crazy. No. You still need a concealed carry in every state. That's a
See this
federal
plane?
law.
9/11. But who am
Yeah,
I
I
kidding?
just
The
checked
government
it.
can
What
print
the
money.
fuck?
Who
Not where I
cares?
live?
So,
In what
addition to the
state? No way, because I'm moving to that state. I would love to own a gun and carry it concealed. No one ever knows about it. In what state you can carry? States that don't require concealed. With my license there. You can carry with no license? I'm not talking about carry. I'm talking about concealed carry. Alaska is the only state where you can get away with it. It's constitutional carry now, too. Concealed, too? In what state? Right here on the internet. It's only saying Alaska for me. On 9/2/2023. Oh, I see. Concealed too. Florida. So you can put a gun in your waistband in Florida and just carry it. If that's true, chat, that's fucked. So you don't need concealed carry permits anymore? So, right, I'm actually shook by that. When the fuck did that happen? 9/2/2023. So this was fucking recently. What the fuck? Alabama too? What the fuck? Bro, Ben, you still gotta get it in North Carolina. Alabama, Florida, Alaska, and Indiana. Holy fuck! In June? Bro, what the fuck? I did not know that. I mean, it was this year, so it was literally 2 or 3 months ago. That is so insane. Wow! That is crazy. I do not agree with that.
$0.3
From the
trillion
Gators.
missing dollars. Many believe that the Twin Towers and Building 7 were the result of a controlled
Wow.
demolition, not the impact of a plane. Let's say George Bush was evil enough to pull this all off. Why? Many believe that Building 7 was a secret headquarters for the entire plan related to 9/11. Seem a bit far-fetched? Maybe. I know nothing. But what if I talk to a first responder on 9/11?
Do you guys believe in 9/11? Bro, there's been a million Walmart shootings. What do you mean? Like someone just said Walmart shooting, and like I didn't even respond to it because like it's like which one? It's like everywhere in America, bro. Everywhere is a shooting area now. It doesn't even matter. It was in that year, so a bit, yes. You know what I mean? I don't believe I don't think that there were bombs inside the buildings. I think it was real. 9/11 happened. Well, no shit, it happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. The buildings definitely fell. Didn't believe it. I don't deny 9/11 happened. But I don't think that I don't think George Bush did it directly. A little all past here. There was one on my Walmart. Like, there's a shooting on a Walmart every single day. I would say that's it. It's probably a fact. I mean, Walmart's there. Yeah, I don't think it's as simple. So some big things I think that when it happened, the United States, the government wasn't necessarily mad, for a couple reasons. Because they passed the Patriot Act, they got to go to war with Afghanistan and Iraq, which they've been wanting to for years. So I think they saw it coming and they let it happen to have the American people behind them and to have the executive orders and to do all the things that they wanted to do in the Middle East and with our phones and with our internet. Because the Patriot Act, which passed after 9/11, gave the government basically full access to any kind of like internet searches, your phone, anything they want to get. If they deem it necessary, they can take it. As far as your personal information on the internet, your internet search history, your phones, just basically anything like that. And also it's great for helping stop terrorists. And then also they got to go, to war over the oil and control, political points in the Middle East. So that's kind of my take on it.
11, who was the New York Fire Commissioner.
You know what I
Let me
mean?
introduce Chris Joya. Chris, who are you?
I'm an ex-chief in the Franklin Square and Munson Fire Department.
For a variety of reasons you're about to explain, you believe it may have been a false flag?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And what is a false flag?
False flag
Wi-Fi.
operation is an operation that was conducted by a government and to
Is
make
that
it
still a thing,
seem
too?
that some
My
group
mom
or
told me that when I was a
entities
kid.
committed some acts which require the government to attack a country.
I was told that. Wait, what did he
To
say?
attack a group or entities committed some acts which require the government to attack a country.
You're right,
Thomas
so-
Hetzel was a member of this department.
Right there.
Yes, and he was killed
like a week ago.
in the towers.
Yeah, bro. What do you mean? I remember, like, and it's not the one you're referring to, because I do remember there was this big Walmart shooting a while back that everyone was talking about. But there was a Walmart shooting, where some guy was Twitch streaming it and shot like 3 or 4 people up in a Walmart in Buffalo like 3 years ago. All the time to justify coup d'etats, like what's going on in somewhere. Like, Israel has the best intelligence in the world. They have the best, most forefront. That's what they're known for. Is their counterintelligence, their spying and everything. And they never wanted Gaza there. And they let Gaza launch all these rockets and they didn't know about it. Literally, not even a country, just a city that's right next to them, launch all these rockets at them and hit them. And then now they can like just decimate the whole city of Gaza. Like, you think they didn't let that happen on purpose, and let their people get pissed off enough so they can do whatever they want? Listen, if that all that shit didn't happen, and like listen, no one should have launched a rocket at all, dude. No one should have launched any rocket more than a year prior. Yeah, but that's the thing is, dude, Israel, but it's not to their credit. Israel wanted to stomp out Hamas and Gaza for literally the past 70 years, and the UN and the United States have literally been having to hold their hand like, hey, you're kind of turning into fucked up people, with what you're doing to these people. On
We
robberies.
lost a lot of friends.
Yeah. You were on site that day.
I was working across the river doing my construction job.
I don't
and
think
then,
killing anyone is ever
the
right.
fire department
I
got
think-
called
I
to
think
duty
both
to
sides, everyone's
assist.
wrong.
Within a
When
couple of
people
days,
kill.
we wound up down at ground zero. That's me, almost 20 years ago. This is what I saw, and
Wow.
then there's the South Tower coming down.
How did you come to the
He has, like,
conclusion that
camera printed
9/11 was a
pictures of
false
this.
flag?
For the first 10 years, I did not think anything other than the official narrative. Then, after being shown.
Did you guys know that when they did the raid on Osama bin Laden's compound, and they took his computers, that he was an avid World of Warcraft player? He played World of Warcraft and he loved American cartoons. And they found an obsessive amount of porn on his computers, when that's like his whole thing, like obviously not very Muslim.
A close-up video of
222,
building number 7 coming down, and that got me going, because it's obvious to me that building 7 was a controlled demolition, because the building collapses from the bottom down.
Can you basically break down your experience in firefighting and construction for us?
Okay, I've been in.
7 made no sense. So from what I heard, this is a long time, Turks. I don't know. They say it's something to do with the foundations, right? Like the blast and everything destroyed the foundations in that building that were already weak and damaged, and it collapsed from that. That's what that is. Am I mishearing that or misremembering that wrong, or am I thinking of something else? No way.
Involved with heavy construction for over 30 years. Been involved with the constructions of high-rise steel frame buildings.
It's been a long time since I looked at a 9/11 and 9/11
on bridges, and I know what goes into these buildings. I know what fire loads that they can handle, how fire is going to act. The trade centers were unique in that they were designed to withstand the impact of a jet. From what I understand, the outer skeleton
Down, but there wasn't sounds of fire like you saw in the Twin Towers.
of the building, the outer columns was like a fishnet, and you had these inner core columns, which were substantial, thick steel beams to withstand 4 or 5 times what the loads were.
Got it.
The engineers always over-design a building. No steel frame building has ever collapsed before or since 9/11. So that should.
But here's the thing, and I hear this a lot. Not many steel buildings have fucking commercial jets flown into them. So no shit. You know, how many times has that happened since?
say something right there, and
He's like,
say
it's
that
never happened again, so we don't know if it's real.
Building
Okay,
7, it
buddy.
was a progressive collapse, that it was caused by fire.
I burned my hand on the stove when I was a kid, but I'm not sure if it'll happen again because I never did it again, chat. You know, it's not hot anymore because I've never touched it again and it's never hurt me again, so.
But progressive collapse, unlike the Twin Towers,
I'm down to hear out a lot of things. What up, Black Ops Zombie? We're watching just kind of like a funny documentary on this. Jetpack, then why did they go?
Twin Towers collapse from the top down. That's a progressive collapse.
Sure.
Floor by floor by floor. But if you look at the videos of Building 7 collapsing, it collapses uniformly. It's collapsing from the bottom. The building stays intact all the way to the bottom of the
Got it.
ground, and you could see the sides caving in on it. For a building to collapse uniformly, which the videos show.
That one does look a lot more interesting because, like, obviously, as you see the two Twin Towers collapse, it goes out and everywhere. It doesn't look controlled at all. It looks messy. And that one does look controlled because when they do controlled collapses, they design the explosions with the building collapsing on itself. That way to make the least amount of mess, the least amount of area of impact and dust and everything. So it collapses in on itself like that. Then it's totally plausible. Exactly. So Turkey, I think this is what I hear, and I don't know if he's gonna find someone to argue the other side, like why it's not in a conspiracy. I heard that there was already damage in Tower 7. Yeah. So before 9/11, and yeah, I was right. So before 9/11, you can look it up here in this article. Look up Tower 7 car bomb damage. So 2 years before 9/11 happened, Tower 7 actually had a terrorist attack where someone blew up a car bomb in the parking garage beneath it that's attached to the foundation in an attempt to collapse it. And they repaired it, but apparently that was that caused the integral damage, and when all the other shit happened, that's what made it knock it down, which wouldn't do much to knock it down. But that's what they claim is the reason why it collapsed like that. It's because someone blew up a car in the basement parking garage of it years before.
all the load-bearing columns would have
That
had to have
part?
failed simultaneously.
I didn't know
Now,
that.
fire doesn't act like that.
Well, the only reason I do know that is because I used to like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think they're just fun to talk about and learn about. Like after this video, I'll never think about this again until maybe I watch another video about it. Like it doesn't take up much of my life, so it's up to continue damage. And I also heard. Hold on, let me make sure this is true before I say it. Let me just look this up. So look, just a couple days before 9/11, insurers around the property who had a lot of money decided to get a couple new coverages for terrorist attacks just right before 9/11 happened, as if they knew it was happening, and they got coverage. They got terrorism coverage on their insurance. 9/11 happened. So that's like also another interesting thing that a lot of people don't know. So like I said, the car bomb goes towards it being real, and then that goes towards it like people knowing about it. Like I said, I think people knew about it and they let it happen so like the government could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
I came across an analogy of the
How do you know all this? I watched a video on it a long time ago. Like when I remember I was like 18 or 19. I watched like a 2 or 3 hour video.
Twin Towers, and if you could visualize cast iron stoves stacked one on top of each other. The stoves up at the top, yes, there's fire and they've been damaged, but the stoves on the bottom, they haven't been damaged.
Okay.
So the structure underneath all of that is intact.
Smart guy.
So
I wouldn't say it's smart. I would say the people who found that out are smart. I just happen to remember.
So it's impossible for a building to collapse near free fall speed and increase
without
good
a
having you,
controlled
Mike, bro.
demolition.
your
2.5 hours for your first stream. I like that attention span.
running into the path of most resistance.
Yo, link the Discord for Josh real quick, somebody.
So something else is going on. I don't believe that it was just the planes or the fire.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that once the weight collapsed, the bottom weight was not expected for it to, like, the weight, the support that collapsed, the weight under it wasn't designed to hold the weight without that support, so it just all collapsed. So that makes sense to me. I agree with you, Turk.
I think that, and they examined the dust and they found what they call thermitic material, which is like an
Avocado just dropped it.
incendiary,
Thanks, Kato.
which was in the dust samples, and that's documented. There were reports of the buildings were undergoing an extensive elevator renovation in the 2 or 3 years prior to. All kinds of workers, they had access to the cores of the building. And on the day of the attack, the elevator company would not assist in the operations of the elevators. And the elevator company it subsequently went out of business. And a couple of years after that, the information is out there. At one time when I was heavily engaged in trying to get a new investigation, I definitely felt threatened. I felt threatened from my family, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. You have sworn testimonies from firefighters regarding explosions in the building. They were suppressed. Just somebody making a statement, especially from firemen and police, if they make a statement, I heard an explosion, that's grounds to initiate an investigation. The firefighters, a bomb went off. This is their own words, made that day. They just ignored.
But here's the thing, bombs, explosions. I think if a plane crashes into a building where this building's gonna have fuel, the fuel furnaces and heat, it's gonna have electricity, it's gonna have machines and equipment. There's gonna be like gas from the plane dripping onto things that make things explode, and lightning from electricity from cords making gas and things like. I think that it would be common to hear some explosions after a jet crashes, some smaller explosions, some things that sound like bombs going off. I don't like, especially when a building collapses and crashes, like all the stuff around it, all the buildings. Like I think that'd be pretty normal. From building engineers, dude, I bet. Like I've only lived in one like what do you call it, Turkey? Like a city that's like I've lived in a lot of big cities, but like cities where there's like a lot of high-rise buildings like that. I've only lived in one city like that, like a concrete like jungle type building. Like I lived in Dallas, and Dallas is like got some giant big ass buildings, but like when I was in New York, bro, it was different. Like you'd be in the buildings sometimes and you couldn't see nature. You're just like, wow, everything is man-made here. You know what I mean?
Ignored it. Just like Building
Well, yeah, there's
7 was ignored
skyscrapers, but
in
like-
the 9/11 Commission report. It's not in there, like it never happened.
True. See, no one ever talks about Tower 7. Like no one ever thinks about like did you guys know the third tower collapsed? Did you guys know about the other planes? Did you guys know about the plane that hit the Pentagon? Do you guys know about the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania that was headed for the White House? Would never want to live in a high rise. It's so scary to me. Oh yeah, me too. You're good, mid girl. Hey, knew about that one. I knew about the Pentagon one. No. Yeah. So this is a story. So there was another flight headed from JFK to Washington D.C. and there were I think 2 or 3 terrorists on board, and they took control of the flight and they were aiming it towards the White House. And when they found out about it, when the people inside of it, Flight 93, when the people inside the plane found out that terrorists had taken over the plane and they were planning to crash it into the White House, they raided the cockpit and they forced the plane down so it couldn't hurt anyone into a field. So they crashed the plane into a field and it didn't hit the White House. And, but yeah.
You think the firemen knew something was up?
New York City Fire
bunch of
Department
heroes
knows
in
exactly
that
what
plane.
happened, and they've been told, not to
That's okay,
not
yeah.
to comment on it. They know. These are my brothers.
your family.
These are the guys I went to fight fires
Yep.
with. These are the guys I grew up with. They don't see how when you lose my friend.
It's
Mike
crazy to
Kiefer,
see destruction like
he
that
was
in
the only
America.
son. He was going to get married. He had a whole life ahead of him. His parents were devastated. So you have all this, collateral damage on top of that people don't see that. And it just infuriates me that something like this could take place.
Flight 93.
These people that did it don't even care about that, You killed some of the best people in this country. You murdered them.
They were collateral damage in the government's plot
Oh,
to have an
yeah.
excuse to start a war.
Oh yeah, true. And we were in the middle of we were already basically at war with Iraq. With the Middle East, we already had so much tension there, so many terrorist attacks going on. Nothing of that level. There were already U.S. troops, I'm pretty sure, in the area at that time, in the region of the Middle East and the oil stuff. Many people don't know about this. I mean, listen, it's been a long time. I mean, like I would say the next 10 years, you ask kids, in middle school about 9/11 and what does it mean to them, and it's going to mean significantly a lot less. They're going to know significantly a lot less than we do, and I would say in 20, 30 years, the popular narrative might be that it wasn't even like how we see it, and it's more of like the conspiracy, because that's becoming the more popular narrative. I feel like that it's not the same. The Gulf War. Dude, the pandemic was 3 years ago. I saw a video on Twitter today. It showed all the busiest places in the world on the same day of 2020 during the peak of the pandemic and how empty they were. And I just think back on how crazy pandemic was and how actually bizarre and strange the world was at that time. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a decade. The background info.
What do you think Al-Qaeda's role in all of this was?
I think Al-Qaeda is made up. The FBI came out, I believe
Okay, shut the fuck up.
it was 2006, and actually said,
Here's what I don't get. So how is he gonna say Al-Qaeda is made up? I would take the thing is I'm a very objective thinker, I like to say, and if there's some significant proof presented to me, I can believe it and I can accept it if it's legitimate and back it up. But bro, how are you gonna say Al-Qaeda doesn't exist by the time of 9/11? Jeez. How are you gonna just make that blanketed statement?
verifiable. I had no concrete evidence linking Osama bin Laden with 9/11. Osama bin Laden worked for the Central Intelligence Agency in Afghanistan. He helped us.
Allegations. Several sources have alleged that Central. Well, no shit. Bro, we have concrete proof that our CIA helped trade cocaine with Pablo Escobar. We have proof that our CIA has helped thousands of terrorist organizations get weapons, we've armed tons of militant groups and started coups in other countries. I'm sure at some point did Bin Laden take a little deal to get something he wanted from the CIA? Then the CIA was scratching their back. Their term is blowback. Yeah, all the time, all the fucking time. Yeah. Group with revenge in their heart. Makes us look bad about it. So, do I think that he might have worked for the CIA? Is that possibly true? For sure. Did we lose a war too? Yeah, bro. Who fucking killed all those Americans?
Fight the Russians when they were in Afghanistan.
Ourselves,
He was
technically.
a CIA operative. CIA
By going
helped
over there.
orchestrate 9/11. It was their plan. George Bush's father.
Like Pablo Escobar, literally, I don't know if you guys have looked into a lot of things. Pablo Escobar several times worked with the CIA, the American CIA, to take down and target other drug organizations and cartels to help improve his own, of course, as well.
Was having lunch with Osama bin Laden's
The DA.
brother or cousin that day or the day before 9/11. So there's some business dealings going on that they don't even talk about. Another fact that can be verified. After 9/11, they shut down air traffic for a few days. No planes were allowed to fly. The only plane that was allowed to fly was bin Laden's family. They put them on government jets and flew them out of the country. They let them go. They set up bin Laden to take the fall for this.
Why would the government want 9/11 to happen?
So they're fine with justifiably killing thousands of Americans in the explosion and everything, but they're gonna fly Bin Laden's family out of the country. And we didn't kill Bin Laden for years later until Obama.
First and
Shout out
foremost,
Obama.
we were going to exert our influence over the whole world.
American and coalition forces are in the early stages of
Dude,
military.
you guys don't remember, American patriotism was an all-time high after 9/11. Bro, every American wanted to go, not every American, but a lot of Americans at first wanted to go out and kick motherfucking ass.
operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world.
Raise up our glasses against evil forces, singing. Bro, this was a renaissance for country music. Country music was patriotic as ever. Like that one song I sing all the time, by Toby Keith. Brought to you courtesy by my red, white, and blue. Dude, there were so many patriotic songs this time.
World from grave danger.
Iraq and Libya, they're sitting on oil reserves. So we went into
Did it
Iraq.
come
We
back?
took- we
Yeah,
took their
dude.
resources. There's tremendous
Toby Keith,
money
Bon
at stake
Jovi.
here. This is all about the money.
So, what role do you think George Bush had to do with this event, if at all?
I think George Bush went along for the ride. I think the real perpetrator, the real culprit behind it is the former Vice President, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney,
Not Dick Cheney. Of course it's Dick Cheney.
I would call Darth Vader. Dick Cheney was in charge of everything. He took control of the military
Boom,
prior
9/11.
to and on that day, and he choreographed. The Pentagon, just so you viewers know, is the most heavily defended building in the world.
It
The
looks honeycombed layered like in Rust.
pilot who allegedly was piloting the plane that
picture.
crashed
There's no
into the
lovely
Pentagon,
picture
his
of
name
him.
was Hani Handra, and he, according
Now, so here's something I did hear. So the person whoever piloted the plane into the Pentagon piloted the plane this far from the ground in a perfect angle for a good amount of time, and it would have to be literally any pilot that they've interviewed and built this scenario up for said flying a jet that low at that altitude was nearly impossible. I think it was a cruise missile. They say keeping a jet of that size without the wheels out at that low to the ground, hitting the building is nearly impossible. You'd have to be the best jet flyer all the time because they didn't crash into it. The plane flew down. So the Pentagon, like you said, they flew down and then went horizontal like this. So it came to a descent and then went straight and flew into the side of it. You know what I mean? Because if it crashed down on top of it, it would have fucked some people up because of how it's built. It crashed into the side.
according to the 9/11 Commission, was the worst pilot out of the bunch. Now, they supposedly were training on Cessnas. So he went to this flight school, and he was such a poor pilot that the instructors wouldn't even certify him on flying a single engine propeller plane.
So apparently the one that flew to the Pentagon was not a certified pilot.
Yet, he is supposed to have taken this commercial jetliner
giant
and done
jet.
some aerobatic maneuvers to bring it in almost ground level and go into the side of the Pentagon. So at the time it
Yeah. So that's how it hit the Pentagon. It literally flew to the ground, got level with the ground without coming in contact with the ground first, and hit the building. Just the right way where the wings would have nabbed him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if like I could assume the plane hit and everything. I just think it's crazy how he pulled that off. I didn't know this. Where's the plane? Well, it's obviously been excavated at this point and blown to shit. You think the plane would stay intact? It's been blown to fuck. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if it's like a missile or, you know, there's been lots of, so there are a lot of CCTV footage of the plane making its descent, the plane coming in, and there's recordings of it.
had an active surface-to-air missile defense,
Yeah,
so they
if
could
plane
shoot
crashes,
down
there's-
incoming planes.
there's
There are
parts of the
more
plane left.
security cameras around the Pentagon, even back then. The FBI confiscated between 80 to 90 videos they have of what hit the Pentagon. They won't release it. Like I said, the more you investigate, the more you don't want to look at it.
that's what it
9/11 is the biggest lie of our lifetimes.
A lot of questions we need answers. How is this possible? And what footage of this remains? Probably a lot, right? They probably got cameras everywhere. This video is all that's
They're
really
honestly,
out there.
no, it's crazy. They're honest. Yeah, and this is the only footage, chat. Listen, this is the only footage to date of the Pentagon being a hit, which I think is kind of crazy. I'm gonna start using that. No, I don't. I haven't seen that in Turkey. Which I think is kind of crazy.
Hell no, man. What the f, man?
It's just this. But why? Do they not have cameras on the Pentagon? Let's go find out.
Jeez.
Keep in mind that the Pentagon is one of the most heavily guarded buildings in the United States, if not the most. You're now entering the Pentagon Reservation. Let's go. So, looks like we made it to the Pentagon. Take a look.
It's very crazy.
This is where Flight 77 hit the Pentagon wall. Let's go. Do you guys know which side the plane hit, actually?
Yeah, this is the side the plane hit on. You can see already from here where it's lighter colored in the center.
Okay.
That's the section they repaired.
Oh, is there like security cameras all over the wall right there?
There are, and that's what you're seeing up there at the top.
Got it.
And you actually, if they catch you taking a picture, they will come out and confiscate.
Oh, really?
You cannot take pictures of the Pentagon. You can take pictures of.
Are we gonna take video?
Not of the Pentagon.
Got it.
He's gonna lose your phone because if he doesn't put it down.
Oh, I see. So, yeah, is the videography different?
It's a camera. You're
I
taking a
see.
picture of the
You're taking
Pentagon. If
pictures.
you take a picture of that,
I see. So people don't take photos in front of the Pentagon?
You can go over to the memorial.
take-
Got it. Well, I appreciate you looking out. Yeah, we'll go over there then.
Bro, who are these like random like just Pentagon lovers? What up, Miranda? Just Pentagon, like they have like season passes to the Pentagon. Like, yeah, we come here every day. We just love it here. We love the parking lot. Like, what? You can't take pictures on the Pentagon. They work for the government, bro. I see you. Honestly, that's smart for the government to hire a bunch of Karens to guard the Pentagon because nobody wants to deal with them.
I'm
Yeah.
just telling you.
I talked to the lady. She basically said there's security cameras everywhere. Even if you look at those poles right there, you'll start to notice that those are pointing towards the walls. There's cameras over there, cameras over there, cameras over there, cameras over there, cameras everywhere. Point being, if the plane were to hit that wall, it makes sense that it would be captured on
Whatever,
video.
Miranda,
And
it's
how
good
is
to
the
see you.
pilot
Welcome,
able to
everybody.
perform that maneuver? Also doesn't make a ton of sense unless it was pure fluke accident. And secondly, how in the hell does a passenger plane get even this close to this building? The security on here must be insanity. How is that possible? So just consider how low the plane had to fly and what maneuver it had to perform to hit the plane wall. There are a few frames in a sort of still framey video right here, but not a single video showing this full event occurring with context. So on this memorial, it says, on September 11, 2001, acts of terrorism took the lives of thousands at the World Trade Center in New York City and a grassy field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and here at the Pentagon. Now, while most people know about Flight 11 that hit the North Tower, Flight 175 that hit the South Tower, most people forget about Flight 93 that crashed in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere, Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At least that's the official
Definitely
story. story. The two basic theories here on Flight 93 are that either A, the passengers took control of the plane and heroically crashed it, or B, the passengers fought back, causing the hijackers to have to crash it in the forest. But if you Google it, you'll find kind of inconclusive answers. Now keep in mind, as Flight 93 is being hijacked, Dick Cheney has already sent out the order to shoot down any non-responsive, threatening-looking planes. So, two F-16 fighter pilots are looking for Flight 93. 6 eyewitnesses say that they saw a white jet flying low, basically hovering above the crash site, presumably an Air Force plane that shot down Flight 93 to protect anyone in Washington. The main body of the engine was found miles away from the crash site, comparable to what you'd see a heat-seeking missile do to an airliner. Conspiracy 3 states that the F-16 pilot actually did shoot Flight 93 with 2 missiles taking the plane down. A lot of conspiracies, but the question is, did anyone in Shanksville, Pennsylvania see anything? Let's go find out.
Maybe I did,
Look at this.
forgot.
Farm County out here. Made it to Shanksville, a friendly
Did anybody
town
see
home of the
anything?
Vikings. Let's go see what these people have to say. Hey there. You know about Flight 93? Yes. Do you know anyone who's seen it? Like when it crashed by chance? Yeah? You think they'd be interested in like a minute of talking about it? Okay.
The new fire chief lives in that brown house right there. I'd say he'd talk with you.
Question for you. Are you the fire chief?
So,
We were wondering if we had talked to anyone who may have seen it or knew anything about it.
Well, I was in high school
Okay.
and I lived in Maryland. You might be able to find someone maybe at the store.
And after talking to a few trucks near the town market, a man who looked mysteriously similar to Sam Hyde approached me with information. Were you around at the time?
yeah, I was around.
Yeah.
What
Did
the
you see, like,
fuck?
first
This guy does look like Sam Hyde.
response go out?
A lot of activity. Just FBI, Secret Service,
Yeah.
things like that coming in, setting up barriers around the area up there and so forth.
Some speculate a fighter
guys.
jet may have shot it beforehand.
I believe that myself.
Yeah.
That's my own personal believing. I grew up on part of the property that is now Flight 93 Memorial. My dad and my uncle were 2 of the people that had seen jets
Okay.
fly past. Several of the fire department members that had been on scene, and they said it was beyond what they would ever expected. An accident scene, I guess. But, you know, you got body parts and
You guys are
clothes
Forklift
and
certified? Bruh, forklift certified lives matter too.
cases, and would have flew
Does.
3 more seconds. It could have took out.
He's an
Shanksville
alcoholic?
School.
You're right.
It could have took out, you know.
Bro! It is a beer
Who
thing.
knows?
Did Al Qaeda take the plane down, or did the passengers take the plane down?
I think the passengers took the
Okay.
plane down. There's conspiracy theorists that think that the second plane was actually shot down before it
Okay.
hit anything, but they wouldn't admit to that because that's killing everybody.
Sure. You believe that?
I don't know.
All right, let's take a look at the memorial. It's important to respect that real people out there lost their loved ones, regardless of how it happened.
What are you
or
watching,
who did it.
Lincolns?
The main questions conspiracy theorists have is, where did the evidence of the plane existing even go? How could the explosion of the plane have been so big that it left behind such little evidence? Would the government have had
True.
reason to shoot down Flight 93 if it ever presented a legitimate threat to hit the Capitol? Why would they jeopardize the plane hitting the Capitol? It is not insane to think that George Bush, as an example, would use 9/11 as a false flag to initiate war in Afghanistan, and then eventually Iraq. And ironically, guess where the Bush family's money comes from? Oil. Guess what they found in Afghanistan? Oil. Guess what they found in Iraq? Oil. My question is, though, if we as a society fail to ask any questions and blindly believe everything, then we will question nothing, which allows the government to do whatever they want, which is a problem. These 9/11 conspiracies are interesting. I have no clue if any of it is true. Who knows what actually happened? Also, whoever has the most viewed TikTok or YouTube short using a clip.
I'll say this, chat. Who gives a fuck? It's over. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know, rest in peace. That's terrible. That is truly terrible. I'm gonna get our bar rescue started. Bar rescue chat. Kidding. I mean, like, dude, I of course I always respect that, and I think one thing that's lost upon young people nowadays, you know, I'm young people. I used to be young people like you. Is not patriotism, because like patriotism is seen so cringe nowadays. Like, you know, everyone thinks patriotism is some like gun-toting, loving American who is like, I think we already watched this episode, who is like, sorry, I'm trying to bar wrestling bullshit. Who is like gun-toting, cringe, Republican bullshit. But like, there really is something about like loving your country a little bit, taking a little bit of pride in it, and I think doing that could makes it a better place. Like, you know, there's a lot of fucking shitty things about our country and America in general, and it's really cringe to American flag, bald eagle, but like, you do want to love your country and have a sense of pride in it, and like a sense of empathy and stuff like that. Because if you don't, bro, you're not gonna like want for it to get better. It's just not gonna get better. You know what I mean? All right, I'm buying our bar rescue episode now.